Okay, so now let's implement the validate form. The first thing we need to do is we need to loop over all the fields that we want to validate. Okay, so let's say for each fields has field. Okay, if not is set. Okay, so values. So if for each field here the key is not set in the values, which is post variable here, we want to add in an error variable. So if it's not set or if the length is 0. Okay, so values, we're going to say field, or that is if the value is not set, or string length of let's trim it, because we can pass in something like this, like tabs, spaces. So we want to trim it to make sure that it's just empty string. So trim values, and then we're going to put field in there. Okay, so if it's empty, I'm going to say errors. We're going to set an error key for that field. So error field equal to, so we're just going to say field cannot be empty. Okay, so since we have not created that errors variable, let's do it up here, and by default it's going to be an empty array, and then finally we're just going to return that. Okay, so if all of these validation passed, this errors here variable here will be an empty array, and then this if statement will not equal to true, and then right down here we can send the email. Okay, so one more thing we want to change is that if email is sent, we want to redirect back to a page which is a success page. So let's create that page right down here. So let's say new file success.php. okay, and in there let's just put in an edit tag here to say success in sending email. Okay, so I'll just go to process.php here, and what I'm gonna do is instead of just saying echo message has been sent, we're gonna do header location, and the location is success.php. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And in the else statement here, that is if for some reason we have an error but it's not a validation error, we're just going to redirect us back to the index.php here. So we're going to copy this here and redirect us to index.php, but instead of passing in errors variable here, we're going to pass in a key here, which is errors equal to we could not send email for some reason. Okay, so let's test that out. Okay, so I'll just come over here to Google and I'll just refresh this form here, and now what we're going to do is I'm just going to click on send by leaving all the fields empty. Okay, so I'll click on send and it says unexpected subject in line 29. So let's go ahead and see what the error there is. Okay, so I missed the comma here, so I'll go back to the form and then I'll just resubmit. It says the requested URL success.php was not found on this server. Apparently I made an error in spelling errors here, so just rectify that. Let's go ahead and retry again. So send, so it seems like it is trying to send to success.php. that means that this validation is passing. So let's do count errors is not equal to 0. So that is if errors variable here is more than 0. Okay, so I'll just do a send here again. So it's still trying to send. Okay, so something really is going wrong. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna debug these errors here after we validated the form. We're gonna do a var dump of errors and just see what's inside there, because errors should not be an empty array, and then we'll just exit the script so that it does not try to send email. Okay, so I'll just submit. So undefined variable field on line 35. Okay, so let's see what the problem there is. So field as field, so it should be fields when we're looping over, so we'll rectify that. So we'll go back here and resubmit, and process.php invalid address here, array 09. So we'll see what the problem is. So it seems like the reason why we're having this invalid address is because of our validation logic here. So instead of just string length, we have to compare. If the string length is triple equal to 0, then we can say field cannot be empty. Okay, so this field will evaluate to one of these, either first name, last name, email, or body. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our form, and then now I'll just submit an empty form. So it said invalid address, but don't worry about that. First name field cannot be empty, last name cannot be empty, and all of those. Okay, so now that we know that the validation is setting properties in the errors field here, let's go ahead and remove this var_dump and exit. And now let's go to our form here. I'll resubmit, and as you can see, we're being taken back to the index.php page, and all the get parameters here, that is the array that we've converted using HTTP build query, are being set in the URL here. Okay, so we're gonna end this video here, and in the next video we're gonna see how we can display those errors on this form here. Okay, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video. Cheers, bye bye.